Hello everyone and welcome. You guys know that I love finding and testing new and different gadgets. I like to find gadgets that help to make our lives easier. Whether as a DIYer or a professional, with most fabrication projects, you have to take measurements. Sometimes those measurements are three-dimensional and not on the flat plane. Most measuring devices do not work well in a 3D environment or when you have to measure curves or uneven surfaces. Well, today we're going to be looking at a new gadget that I came across that has a huge potential for being very useful to many different professions. This tiny little tool that I'll be showing you in just a few moments is a fantastic measuring tool for the DIYer, contractors, woodworkers, seamstresses, fabricators, furniture makers, architects, craftsmen, and many, many more. It also is compact enough that it fits in your pocket and can be carried around with you to anywhere you go. So if you want to see what is in this new measuring tool that I just got for measuring projects and so forth, stick around as I unbox and test this new gadget from Hozo. And check this out. Check out how beautiful this packaging is put together. Hozo definitely put some effort into packaging up all their products in here. It's like a box of chocolates. Everything is nice and organized in there for you. This is the little guy that we're going to be looking at, and all these are accessories to use with this little guy. So let's get started. Alright guys, so when you unbox this puppy, this is everything you get. So let's talk a little bit about some of the features that this guy has. But before we get started testing this guy, do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. That way you get notified every time I do another product review video, DIY project, or a sale at a big box store where I can help you guys save even more money. Alright, so this is the NeoRuler Go from Hozo, available on Kickstarter, link in description below. This product is just now becoming available to the public, but I got it through early access. I love to bring you new stuff as soon as I can. Alright, so you can get this guy a few different ways. This is the NeoRuler Go by itself, and you get the NeoRuler, a charging cable because it has an internal battery, and 4 little rubber pads for the wheel, and I'll show you all this in greater detail in a moment. You can buy this little guy by itself, early better special for $49. Now you can get this whole deluxe combo kit where you get everything you see here for only $109. So that is a fantastic deal. For double the price of this guy, you get all this extra stuff in here. And I'm going to show you what everything is and what it does so you understand exactly what a good deal is to get the combo. But you can get everything individually if you don't want to get all this. If you want to get the NeoRuler and you just want to get these individual things, one separately from the other, you can buy them all separately as well. But it's going to cost you more that way. Like I said, the deluxe kit is the much better way to go. Now this guy comes with a 1-year warranty. Now the dimensions on this little guy is really tiny. You're looking at 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches by 1/2 inch in thickness. I mean, look at it. It is smaller than my hand. And I'll pick it up in a moment and show you exactly how it works. This guy weighs less than 2 ounces, like 1.5 ounces. Now the centerpiece of this entire kit is the NeoRuler Go. And all the other items are accessories that improve your experience with the NeoRuler Go. And I'll show you what all these items are and what they do in just a moment. Now this little guy is powered by a 300 milliamp hour rechargeable battery that can last up to 10 hours of continuous use or up to 90 days of standby. Now this little guy is IP54 waterproof, so it can get a little wet with no trouble at all. This guy can take measurements in imperial or metric units, and it has an accuracy of plus or minus 1/32 of an inch. It can take measurements in inches, feet and inches, millimeters, centimeters, meters, kilometers, or miles. Now you say kilometers or miles? Why would I be doing that with this little guy? Well, this little guy actually has 93 built-in scales that you can use to take all sorts of measurements. Like I said previously, if you're a draftsman or an architect or a home decorator or anything like that, and you have blueprints or elevations or anything that you're going to be looking at, and the scale may be different, that may not be a 1-to-1 scale, it may be 1-to-3, 1-to-5, 1-to-250, whatever it may be, or 1 inch may equal 1 mile. This little guy can help you look at blueprints or elevations and adjust with the built-in scale so you can take measurements on a small scale and know what they are on a much larger scale. Very convenient for draftsmen and architects. This little guy also has Bluetooth and works with the free downloadable Mizor app, which can help you store all the information and convert it to usable parameters for whatever project you're working on. No need to write things down, just send it to the app and go from there. So let's take a little closer look at all these accessories and see how everything works together. Alright guys, so before we start testing this guy and seeing how it performs, let me give you an inventory of everything that comes in this deluxe kit. And like I said, I'm going to point out the individual items because you can buy them all individually if you choose to do so. Now this right here is the NeoRuler Go. Like I said, you get the NeoRuler Go, 4 different pads for the wheel that does the measuring underneath, and the power cord to power it up. This is one item right here. You can get some extra wheel pads that comes with the wheel pads and extra tips for the pencils, which are over there, and I'll talk about in a minute. This is another section you can buy separately if you want. This is a pencil case, which will snap on to the NeoRuler Go to give you an extra handle, and it has a smaller pencil and tips inside here already included. You can get this guy as one unit. Over here you have a leather case, comes in black or brown, and the leather case comes with a key holder because you can put this guy on your keychain and carry it around with you, EDC carry it anywhere you want, anytime you want. This is one separate item that you buy here. Now these guys here are pencil holders and tip holders. These are individual ones that you can buy. One of them comes with color tips, and you see it brings you a lot of tips there to hold it all together. And I'll talk more about in the detail how these guys work. And this guy is all black tips. And these guys are individual ones that you can buy separately. And this is also an individual item. This is a standard size pencil, but it's an aluminum alloy pencil, and it comes with its own tips. So all these are individual items that you can buy separately aside from the NeoRuler Go. But in the deluxe kit, you get everything all together, and it all works in conjunction, and I'll show you exactly how everything comes together and how it helps the NeoRuler Go to be a better tool and more useful for you. But that's an inventory of everything that you get in there. Alright, so I turned this little guy on, and I'm going to give you a much closer look how this guy performs in a moment, but I'll show you basically how all the accessories come together. There's your little keychain holder and so forth. You can put it on your keychain, carry it around with you in your pocket with your keys and other stuff. Very convenient that way. By the way, I should mention that the body of this guy itself is plastic, ABS, but this ring is aluminum. Pretty much any of the silver things that you see on these items are aluminum. Same as this guy. It's an aluminum body. Same as the pencils, they are aluminum alloy, so all very nice solid construction. And this is your leather pouch right there. Like I said, black in this case, it does come in brown, but you can just slip this little guy in there, and that way you carry it around with you and keep it protected so it doesn't get damaged. Very conveniently fits in your pocket, easy enough to do. Now this little guy here, let's take it out of the pouch, and this top part comes off. See, this little guy snaps right off, and you can put this guy on there. But let me show you right there. That is where your charge port is, right on the top part. So you got to take that off to charge it anyway. Now this little guy snaps right on there. And there you go. Instead of having this tiny little guy, you have a much longer handle so you can take much more accurate measurements. Use it as a pen if you want to measure that way, or, stretch it out this way. Whatever is convenient for you, however you want to hold it, that's what this guy is for. It gives you a longer handle so you have better control of your measurements. But that's not all. This little guy is also a pencil holder. You have this button right here, and this lid on the back comes off, and it is a magnetic lid. See how it has magnets on there? And that holds 4 tips for your pencil. And you also have a mini aluminum pencil back here that will basically go with you anywhere you want. And you can use this guy to take measurements anywhere you want. Whatever measurements you want, you can write it down with this. That's very cool. This guy is solid too. That feels very nice in the hand. And this is a mini version of the pencil. So it's very, very cool. And you see everything says right there, designed by Hozo. Very nice. They etched their logo and everything into there. And they're very proud of it, obviously. And I can't say there's a good reason for it. It's a very nicely done product. And there is your graphite tip. And these little guys come off. That's why you saw that there were several more. These little guys come off, and you can easily swap it out and put a different one in there. Different color, different black graphite, whatever you want to do. And you just twist it back on, and you're off and running. Very easy. You see it's graphite. You see it comes off of my fingers. It is a pencil. You can write with it like a normal pencil. And then you just put this guy back in here. Just carry it around with you. Put this little guy. It just snaps right in there. And you close it back up, and you're done. And that's the back of this guy. So that's a convenient little handle to use onto there if you want to do that. Now let me show you the bigger pencil. All right, so let's take a little closer look at the pencil. This is another accessory. This is the larger version of the pencil that I already showed you. You can get this guy individually aside from the other one. Now, this is a very nice pencil, has again, designed by Hozo, very nicely etched onto there. And this is a very nice, solid pencil. I can guarantee you, if you are an architect, a draftsman, a craftsman, any person that is using pencils all the time to write things down, take measurements, all that, this is a pencil you're going to like. You're not going to want to let it go. You're not going to share it with anyone because you know it's probably not going to come back to you. So you're going to hang on to this guy real tight and not let it go. Nice, solid feel in the hand. Very nice aluminum alloy. Very, very nice pencil. Great for writing and so forth. And the tips, like I said, are always sharp. And basically, you can interchange it anytime you like. Comes right off, just like the one that I showed you previously. And these little guys are pencil holders and also storage for the tips. To hold the pencil, all you do is put it in there. And right there, it'll hold the pencil for you. And then you come back to it, pop it out, and away you go. But these little guys are actually quite ingenious because you see it's a nice aluminum body as well. You open it up, it has all the tips in there for you, and the pencil stays in the middle, but all the tips stay in there. And you pull it out and you change it to any color that you need. If you need a red one, there you go. You pull that guy out and you use it and you put it back and you're off and running. And there is your aluminum cover that keeps everything nice and organized and you don't lose it. Now, the ingenious thing about this little guy is that it has a nice little rubber bottom to keep it from moving around on you. But this little bottom actually works as an eraser. So if you're, doodling, drawing, doing whatever it is that you have to do, and you make a mistake, well, you pull this guy up and just erase it off, and you're off and running. So that's very convenient. And like I said, you buy individual ones. This one has the color tips in it. This one has the black tips in it. You notice how they are like a brass insert with the lead on the tip of it. So they're not cheapy little stuff. They're well made. And each one of these tips is supposed to last as much as 50 regular pencils. So think about it. All that, you'll never have to buy a pencil again in your life. Each one of those will last like 50 pencils. So that is a long time. You're never going to have to worry about that again. And that basically is everything that you get in the combo kit. And all these guys come together to make this a much more friendly user experience when you're using the NeoRuler Go. So now let's take a look at this guy and see how it takes measurements. All right, guys, let's take a little closer look at this little NeoRuler and see how it works, what it can do, all that kind of good stuff. Now, this little guy, like I said, tiny little guy, few inches. And this guy has a couple of buttons, one on each side. And that's how you control everything. And it has a little wheel at the bottom, and that's how you take all the measurements. There you have right there, NeoRuler Go, digital rolling ruler, designed by Hozo. There you go. And 2024, it is brand new. So there you go. These are the little pads that you can remove off of there. And I already showed you the extra ones. And these, if you ever wear them out, they just come right off and you put new ones on. Now, this little guy, let's turn it on. You press the two buttons together, and it comes right on. And that shows you right there the Bluetooth there and the battery capacity up there. And everything else is for measurements. It's very simple in that respect. Now, let's see. We click this little guy, and that's how you turn on the laser so you can take your measurements, and we'll do that in just a moment. You click this little button over here, and then you can select between millimeters, or you can do centimeters, meters, inches, feet and inches, etc., just like we discussed before. So let's put it to inches. Let's do that. And then you can go into the menu, and on the menu, you can select either 1-to-1, or you can go into different scale rulers, or you can go into point-to-point kind of rulers, and then you can go into the settings and adjust more units and so forth, all that kind of good stuff. Now, let's just go 1-to-1. We'll leave it there. And like I said, you turn on this little guy right here, and you see, I'll show you right there on my hand. When you roll it, that's how you take the measurements right there. And it just rolls very easily, and that's how you take measurements. And you can do any kind of measurement, any angle. You can be at an angle. You can be this way. You can be that way. You can go straight up and down. You can do curves. You can do whatever you want. This little guy will roll in any direction that you want it to, and that's how it takes your measurements. And I'm going to show you examples right now. But that gives you an idea right there, and then you lock it in place, and that shows you everything that you have right there. Your measurement is locked. Then if you spin it after that, it won't affect anything else. So that's pretty cool right there. Now let's pick some other stuff to measure. Alright guys, so let's take a look at some practical scenarios where you would want to use this little guy instead of this little guy. This is not very convenient for a lot of things, kind of stiff and wonky, it doesn't want to go anywhere. So let's take a rounded surface like this. Let's say you want to measure it. You start off with your tape measure and it's kind of inconvenient and you get all kind of wonky and stuff. I mean, look at that. That's not going to be a very accurate measurement now, is it? So, forget that guy. You get this little guy and you get some accurate measurements. And all you do is press on there, turn on the laser, make sure the laser is on, and the laser gives you an exact location as to where you're going to start. Now, I'm not going to be super accurate. I'm just demonstrating this for you. So, but obviously you can be as accurate as you want. And for me, I'm looking through a camera, so obviously it's going to throw off my vision, be kind of hard to do these measurements. But the minute you put it down, it starts taking a measurement. So you start rolling, and you go right there. And you start rolling it. And I hope I don't come off the edge of this thing. And you start measuring. And you go all the way off to the other edge. And there you go. You got 14 inches, 0.52. 14.52 inches. That is exactly what this guy is. And, with a tape measure, I don't think you could be that accurate. And if it's something where you need accuracy, that's where this guy comes in handy. Let's do a little different one. And you can just delete that out. And let's take another rounded object right here. Turn this little guy on and just turn on your laser again. And again, you can just put it on there. And the minute you start measuring, no matter how bumpy, lumpy, or whatever it is, it will still measure it perfectly for you. There you go. 6 inches, 0.45. 6.45 inches is how big that is right there. Then you can zero it out and keep on going. Now, with a tape measure, could you do it? Yeah, I mean, you could, but I mean, it's like, look, it says 7 inches. That's not very accurate now, is it? So it depends, what you're looking at. And how about something else? How about if you had a complex object? With a tape measure, could you do it? I mean, I guess you could, but look at all that. You're definitely not getting very accurate measurement right there with all that flexing and stuff. Now, with this guy, make sure we have it zeroed out. Turn on the laser, and we start off right here. And you start on the edge of this, and you put it right there. You measure across, and you measure down. Take it to the edge, and look at that. 5.86 inches tells you exactly how much one side plus the other side is. If that's an important measurement for you, there you have a very accurate measurement. With the tape measure, I mean, what are you going to get? You got 6 and 2/16 or something like that. Not very accurate now, is it? Because you got a lot of flexing going on there. So that's not very accurate. Now, let's say you wanted to measure an inside curve. We already did an outside curve. Let's do an inside curve. Can't really measure that with a tape measure now, can you? I mean, come on. That is like craziness trying to hold it there and take a measurement. It's like you need like 3 or 4 hands to do that. This little guy can do it for you without any trouble at all. Zero it out. Turn it on, and let's take this guy right here, right from the edge, measure it across there. There you go, right at the edge, and we got 7.58 inches. That is accuracy for you because it checked everything all the way. You didn't have any flexing or any of that kind of stuff. So those are practical things when you're using hard objects that a normal contractor or, DIY or anybody would want to do. Zero that out. What if you're doing a circular object? Can you do that with a tape measure? I mean, yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, you could try to do that. It's like, damn, that's kind of crazy there. With this guy, turn it on, and you can just do round objects. No problem at all. And obviously, have a mark so you know where you started. But that tells me right there, 11.13 inches. If you obviously have a mark somewhere where you start, then you'll know exactly how accurate it is. But you saw in an instant, I was able to take that measurement without any trouble at all. Now, that's something where, like I said, contractors, DIYers, you're dealing with physical objects, hard objects. How about other things like a seamstress would do, or a fabricator in any kind of material product? Now, what if you're a seamstress or you work in upholstery or something like that, and you need to deal with some soft products like this, soft materials. Can you use a tape measure? Well, not too good. It doesn't work very well, does it? You can use the fabric tapes. Yeah, that's what those are made for, and they do come in handy, but you got to be very good at that. It does take a lot of practice to do that. With this little guy, it doesn't take that much practice, does it? Turn it on, and then you go from one end of the pillow right there, and you go all the way to the other end of the pillow, and bam, right away, without any trouble whatsoever, you have your measurements right there. And you got 13.11 inches. And you can go also different measurements. You see inches? Then you can also, the same measurement you already took, you can measure it in different units and just convert it on the fly. You don't need to do anything at all. The 13.11, you can go feet and inches, kilometers, obviously not, miles, no, millimeters, there you go, centimeters, etc. So you can change it to whatever it is convenient for you. So that's very cool. On the fly, you can use as many units as you want to check this guy out and see how it performs. So a very convenient little unit for both practical, physical, hard objects, or even soft objects like a pillow, where you need to measure out the material and you get the length, and obviously you can measure it this way, get the width, and then you know exactly what you're looking at. So this little guy works for just about anybody out there, and you can carry it around in your pocket anytime, anywhere, any day. Very easy to use it whenever you need it. Alright guys, so a few minutes ago we discussed how this tool would be very, very useful for architects, draftsmen, all that kind of people, where you use it to take measurements on elevations or blueprints or any of that kind of stuff. But since I don't have an elevation or blueprint to look at, I'm going to make one myself and give you an example. And I'm going to use the metal pencil that came with it and show you how good this guy works. So let's say you had a blueprint or something like that and you had to take some measurements for calculations, your discussion, whatever you plan on doing. And let's say you wanted to take a measurement from this point right here, and you wanted a curvy measurement right there to that point right there. So a little smiley face, how about that? So you pull out your little ruler, and we have it in feet and inches, and we have a scale of 1 to 20. Remember, we talked about scaling earlier, so this guy can help you with that. Now, obviously, that's just a few inches, maybe 3, 4, 5 inches, something like that. And on a scale of 1 to 20, let's see what it tells us. We turn this little guy on, and you put it right there, and you can take this round measurement without any trouble at all. So you put it right there, and then you start taking the curvature. Follow it all the way to the end there, and there you go. That little area right there translates to 8 feet, 5 inches, and 29/30 seconds. Obviously, that is not 8 feet right there. That's only a few inches. But when you do a scale of 1 to 20, it tells you what it would be in the real world. It would be 8 feet long. So if you had a retaining wall or something like that, and that's what you're looking at, that is your calculation. So you know how to order materials and so forth and go from there. So for a draftsman, architect, all those kind of people, this little guy comes in really, really handy for making measurements on paper and translating it to what it would be in the real world. So there you go. All right, guys, there you have it. A review and demonstration of a compact rolling laser ruler. I think this is a great little device for measuring all sorts of odd shapes. Whether you're a contractor, draftsman, seamstress, architect, fabricator, or DIYer, this little rolling ruler can help you take care of all sorts of odd measurements. Whether it's uneven surfaces or round and curved shapes, inside curves, outside curves, compound shapes. No matter what odd shapes you have to measure, now you can do it more easily and accurately with the NeoRuler Go. No need to grow extra hands to use a tape measure. This little guy rolls easily over every type of shape out there. So here you have another great little gadget to make your life easier and more accurate. Check out the link below for all the details. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye for now.